You're not gonna believe this, but I'm here with a real life Pez head. You're wondering what that is? It's him, Craig. No, he collects Pez dispensers. You've got, what, over 2,300 of these?
Over 2,300, approaching 2,400, yeah.
Wow. Now, when did this start?
Since I was a kid. I've been doing it ever since I can remember, but I really got serious about it the last few years. It's just something I've always done.
Good thing they're little with 2,300 of them. You can see, now do you keep them on display like this all the time?
For the most part, yeah. There's so many of them at this point that I have to just store a lot of them, but I keep as many out there as I possibly can to show off.
I want to see your very first.
My very first would likely be this one right here. This is a Fireman from the Pez Pal series. It originally came out in the 1970s, and somehow I ended up with it as a kid. And that kind of spread to just a few random newer pieces as I was growing up, and it just kind of went from there.
Where do you find all of these?
For new dispensers, yeah, the grocery store, Walmart, World Market. I mean, there's a lot of different places that you can pick up new dispensers. As far as vintage pieces, which is what I focus my collection on now, you can go to eBay. I know various dealers just from being in the community over the years. You can get them directly from them as well.
So am I allowed to touch one of these?
Absolutely.
Can I touch the gun?
Absolutely.
Now this is a Pez dispenser, everybody. Believe it or not. Now how much does this go for?
Well, there's a couple versions of that gun. It came out in the 1980s. The more common version is the red with white piece. That's worth around $150. Now the black version is much less common. It could easily go on eBay for $200, $250, but book value on it's about $300, maybe $400.
So see, he has so many of these, he won't know if there's one missing. No, okay, I won't steal your stuff. Now, do you keep them loaded? Like, do you even like Pez the candy?
I love it. I love it. I think that's one of the fascinations I always had with it.
Do you have a favorite? I see a bunch of different collections here.
I have a few favorites, but my most favorite of all is going to be this one right here. This is one of the original Pez guns. Came out in the 1950s. There's about 7, maybe 8 different colors of that. This is one of the more common ones, but it's worth $500, $600 easily. It's very, very hard to come by. Yeah, it's one of my most prized pieces in my collection. I really enjoy having it. Beyond that, most of the old vintage Pez dispensers were based upon historical figures, cartoon characters, comic book characters, different things like that, but they came out with a line called the Pez Pal series. And it's basically just a kind of uniform face that Pez created, and then they put different characters to it. This one right here is the Ringmaster. It's kind of a circus Ringmaster piece, and it's very, very, very rare piece nowadays. Picked this one up about a year ago, and it's easily worth $500, $600 as well.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I see like Star Trek. Is it the newest? They're constantly coming out with new lines of the whole series?
They constantly come out with new pieces based on movies coming out. They do a lot of the Disney and Pixar movies for the cartoons, but yeah, for the new Star Trek movie that's coming out, they have this set that they just released. It's a fairly limited edition set, a collector set, and they'll do that for a lot of different pieces as well.
Now, are there like Pez head conventions?
There are. There's about 5 or 6 different ones all over the country. The biggest one's in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been to it one time. Really, really interesting mix of people there. But it's a good time, had by all. You can find a lot of really cool Pez there that people are selling. So it's usually just a weekend thing.
And you're not a Pez head snob, are you? You'll take any Pez?
I'll pretty much take any Pez. I used to take just about any Pez product that I could get my hands on, but once my collection got to the size that it did, it got to the point where I have to be a little bit more selective about what I take. I'll take any vintage Pez, but you know, the giant Pez, for example, they're so big that they take up just entirely too much space.
And one thing that he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life is, I just want to, can I show your tattoo?
Sure.
This is when you know you're like diehard. He has a Pez tattoo.
It may seem a little bit extreme, but you know, it's just like Pez is to my life. You know, it's not the only thing I have. It's not the only tattoo that I have. So.
Well, what would be your next step? And I want you to look into this, okay? And I'm going to get it for you for Christmas.
Okay.
You need to get like a personalized Pez. You need your head on a Pez dispenser.
You can actually do that.
Of course.
There's a company that if you send them $100 and a picture of yourself, maybe a couple pictures of yourself, they will handcraft a Pez to your likeness, and you'll get it back in about a couple of months. weeks. Yeah.
Craig, what's the most you've ever paid for one?
The most I've ever paid for one was probably would be the Red Knight. This is another piece in the Pez Pal series, and it comes in 3 different colors. This one is worth easily $500–600. I paid $400 for it. Wow. You can typically get pieces, vintage pieces, for a little bit less than their book value on eBay, just because of the accessibility. But most of these vintage pieces you can expect to pay anywhere from $100 to $300, sometimes more, just depending on the piece.
Now, have you ever gone without lunch one day because you didn't have any money and decided you needed to sell one?
No, never. I've never gotten to the point where I've had to sell a Pez, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I know it's there just in case. All told, my collection could easily sell for $25,000, maybe $30,000, something like that.
All for a bunch of plastic.
That's it. A lot of people don't really understand the obsession, but it's there's a lot of us out there, and it's our hobby. We love it.
Craig, I want to thank you for having us out here
and
sharing all of this good stuff with us, and good luck on collecting more Pez.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Beyond McReynolds, founder of Tour de Hood. I'd like to invite everyone out to our first annual Tour de Hood Houston. We'll be going through all of Houston's 6 wards. This is a fundraiser benefiting Tour de Hood and Workshop Houston. The event will be held May 24th at Texas Southern University.